Hey folks, this is Keith at Down Redwood Groves. Welcome back for part 2 of my solar kiln. I lost some videos of what I was progressing with, but just give you a little update. It's pretty straightforward. You can watch, I got the roof on. You could watch the tough text on my greenhouse video if you want to see how that's installed, but that's pretty straightforward. I've put the insulation in. I drilled the holes for the 2 fans, you can see, and I've used ground fabric 4 foot wide and stapled it to the wood to cover up the insulation to act as my black medium. I'm in the process of doing the doors. Thought I would videotape that, but it seems like it didn't, so I'll show you what I did. Okay, so what I use is my jig. Set it up for 1.5 inches because that's how thick these 2x true 4-inch boards are. The uprights, if you will, for the doors, I countersunk the holes in both sides. I put one in the center of the door and of course one on each end. 2 3-inch screws, my deck screws I'm using. I'm not using the jag screws. And I put the door in and it's pretty strong. Might put some diagonals in, but I'm going to put the door up and see how it hangs before I do that and then play that game. I am going to put more tough text panels on this just to keep it lighter. I don't feel like using more wood. That'll be just heavier and it'll give me a little bit more solar and should create a little bit more heat. So I'm hoping we'll see what that works like, but that's what we're going with. So I got the one door done. I videotaped it, but I'm using a new video recorder, and instead of videoing, I actually took pictures. So I don't know. If you want to see me build a door, I'll build another door. I'll put the other door on top of this door and we'll start screwing it together and we'll see how it works. Alrighty, so I got the doors in place. I use shim stocks. I might not be the person to teach you how to hang doors, but I use shim stocks to kind of get things lined up, get myself about the equal gap for the opening, and then I try to put the hinges tight on the fixed, if you will, so that when it opens up, I can open it up maximum. I put a board here, screwed it on, just kind of hold the doors up. They're in tension, and all I have left now is to put this hinge, screw that on, and then pull the shims and see how these doors, how they hook up. All right, so I'm putting 3 screws in each. Sometimes I put 4 screws in here, but pretty much only 3. I might go back and put a 4th one in there, but I don't know. So the doors are in. It's time to pull the shim stocks and see how these doors, how they work. And pull this out. That's a good sign. And pull this shim stock. Oh, I like it. I'm liking it. So I talked about originally making this a split door, but it's pretty light. It's pretty easy. Those the jag jig really locked this in nice. I'm pretty happy with that. And yeah, this should open up nice and be able to load it all up. So now what we're going to end up doing is I have the tough text, so I got to cut it for these doors because they're 8 foot. Of course, these are not. I would love to get it so that, you know, as I talk about that, maybe I'll see what that looks like. what it would take to, no, it won't work. I know it won't. But put these two, I gotta cut at least one. Talking to myself to you guys, sorry about that. I gotta cut them. I'm gonna have, what's this one hitting on? Oh, it does sag a little maybe. Not bad though. So maybe I'll put a couple more screws in it just to see if that help holds it. But I can live with that. So I'm going to cut the tough techs and get them in place and start this door, because I want this to be the first door that closes. And then what I want to do is I'll have the tough techs overlap on this side to kind of seal up this seal a little better, and then that'll be the two doors combined. So you'll have to open that door to get to that door, and we'll go from there. Again, I still got this. I thought about maybe using the tough techs and going up and see how that seals. I get it on there, we'll take a look and see of that, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up putting another board up there and working it that way. But you never know. I'm ad-libbing on my design here. Alright, new phone. I thought I hit video, but I just took a picture, so you didn't get to see me put this thing up. But anyhow, I did get the two pieces up. I didn't do the overlap. I didn't like how that was going to look, and I didn't do the overlap up here. We're going to have to do something different like that. I like it better so that it sits on the wood versus overhang. I think it's just going to be an issue. But I did go through, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4 laps overlap to get it so that it didn't stick over the end, and I had it just down here on the bottom. Got 3 screws on it, so it's all set up here. The doors are getting a little tighter now. Opened and closed a few times. It's been quite windy, and the doors were swinging. So I'm going to call it quits for the day. But I got it in there. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's going to look pretty nice. You'll be able to see it and see the wood, and it should give it a little extra solar for some extra solar heat. So we'll see what happens. So that's where we're at for now, and I'm going to come back to next day and I'll finish this little, cut some more pieces and put the top pieces on here. But for now, it's going to be done for here. Done for me for the day, but for you, it'll just be the next clip of this video. Alrighty, so I finished the top. I just took the piece, cut two sideways, if you will. I did put 2 screws in there just because I don't like one screw trying to hold it. It does wiggle and wiggle. So I put 2 screws on each side of it. So now the doors are on, and it is raining. So one of the things I'm noticing now, I got rain coming down. I was hoping it would sheet down here on this, and it does look like it's doing that. But I am getting some water hitting that board. So it's not seeming to be doing it on this one. Of course, this one's in just a little bit, so I don't know. So I might end up putting some type of a ridge vent on that, or not ridge vent, but some type of a ridge cap on that to keep that from getting too wet from the rain. But we'll keep an eye on that, see what's going on. So the doors are done. I'm going to start working on the brackets for the solar panel, so I can do that inside the barn while it's raining. So let's see if we can do that today. Alrighty, the cooling system, or the air circulating. I got 2 box fans. I mounted them in those holes. I got them on low speed right now. You can see the thermometer. Hopefully get a focus. We're like 80 degrees. It is 62 degrees here, and there is no sun. I just opened the doors. So it is still holding up some pretty good warm even without solar. So we'll see how hot it gets with the wood. I got 2x2s down here. I've shimmed them to get them nice and level. I've used spray foam to fill the gaps in the floor to seal the floor gaps up. my solar system. I've got a 375 watt solar panel I bought up there. I was trying to run the fans on DC because I figured the motor would be a DC motor, but they're not. I think I said that before. Maybe I didn't. Anyhow, they're not DC motors. So I had to put in the 110 outlet. And then what I did, this just seemed to be the easiest for me. I tried to use the microinverters, but microinverters look for line voltage. I can't find a microinverter that would run off grid. There are some YouTube videos out there showing people saying they do, but when you go and look, they don't. So I ran it down through here. I used one of my old chargers, 12 volt, 24 volt charger. I got one 12 volt, 100 amp battery down there. It's AGM. It came out of an old medical facility, so it's a used facility. I'm sitting here, it's been running for a few minutes now. Battery's still at well, 12.6. I got almost no solar going in. I put a timer to run the fans. So I tried finding a 12 volt timer that could click on and off so that I wouldn't be running the power inverter 24 hours a day, but I couldn't find anything that had enough amp load. If there's anybody out there that could find that, put that in the notes. I'd greatly appreciate it if you know of one. Anyhow, that's how we got the system set up. It's in a box outside, sealed up, so it's not airtight, but it is waterproof. So got that system going, and I still got some gaps I want to close up, but I got to make some room. I got to get some wood in here, so I'm about ready to put some dimensional lumber that I have. I'm gonna probably take some more of the ground cover and cover up the insulation, but I'm gonna leave it alone. I want to play with this a little bit and get some cycle time in and see how it goes. And I'm gonna take well, I'll show you what I'm gonna use when I get the lumber in here. All right, so here's the concept. I'm using furniture blankets for shipping, or moving blankets, I guess is what they're classified as. No advertising, not sponsored. Anyhow, putting these blankets on top of the wood so that the fan will come down, the air will come down through and push through. I gotta get a little bit more gap here so that the air can come, I don't know if you can see that, so the air can come down through there and go through the wood. And I got enough space right here. I'm hoping, let me get down here, got enough space here. I'm gonna have to do something. I got another pallet of slabs I'd like to get in here that have been air drying too, and put that in here to try getting that start drying too. Now, this lumber was cut a long time ago. I did a moisture test on this when I pulled this out of the barn, and they were 14%, 16% majority. I found the wood on the bottom must have been sucking the moisture up from the ground. They were at 26%, so that's this top oak in here. I got some oak, here's some black walnut, here's some maple, here's cherry, and here's some red oak. And some cherry again here. So it's got a mixture of wood in there, again 14-16%. We're gonna just start playing with this thing to see how it's going. I can see my gaps. Excuse me. I can see my stickering here. I didn't do very good inside the barn when I was doing that. I don't know if I'm gonna try pushing them over. Again, the wood is already pretty stable. I don't think that's gonna hurt or twist anything. I hope it doesn't. We'll see. But we've got her in there, and I'm going to close the doors up, and we'll start running some air around through this. I got fresh air coming in. Okay, so here are the two fresh air inlets. Those are entered into the fan chamber, if you will, the top box. And the bottom two are the exiting air to come through the wood. I have, right now, there is some dimensional lumber in there. There's about 600 board feet, 8 foot long in there. I don't think you can see the thermometer. We are sitting at about, can you see that? It's a little blurry for the camera here, it looks like. We're sitting at about 95 degrees. It is 57 outside. And yeah, where's the sun? When I did start coming out here and looked at everything, the sun was out, fans weren't on, but it was 130 degrees. So it's starting to cool down. But anyhow, we're starting to dry some lumber, and for the first round, I think that's pretty good. This will conclude the solar kiln build. I'll probably do some modifications. I want to do some trim, but I don't think I'll videotape that. There's some gaps in the tough text that I'd like to cover up from the what you can see, like right there. There's a little bit of a gap there on that one, and some of the other ones, like right there. That's a huge gap that I mean, I can stick my whole finger in there. So I want to close them up and get some more closure in there to allow some air to get right to the wood and not just come out. But for now, we're going to run this and see how this works. I'm sitting here with about a week of rain, so not doing too great, but come the weekend here, we should have some sun, so we'll see what happens. Hey, if you like this type of stuff, give me a thumbs up. If you hadn't hit subscribe, hey, please hit subscribe. Appreciate it, and see you on the next video. This is Keith, Redwood Grows.